everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with another race in the Group 4 cars at the Nürburgring. However, this race is a very quick 4-lap sprint race from the daily race B that was on the other day. You can see in front of me we've got one of the fastest drivers on GT Sport, TRL, Team Red Lines, Favaros. Probably one of the drivers I would consider to be as close as you're going to get to TRL Lightning. So I knew this race was going to be an extremely hard battle to stay with him. Fortunately for myself, he's picked the GTR, obviously carrying on the practice with the car that he's using for the manufacturer series. A very good car at this track, but I think my Evolution was a little bit stronger here, and this is what I was talking about. The Evolution was these four-wheel drives are so much stronger at this track than the Mercedes that I was driving. Managed to get my qualifying lap on a 2 minutes 2.4, and I didn't really push it that much. The Megane also was very strong here. I got a 2 minutes 2.5, I think it was, just a tenth down on the Evolution. Decided to pick the Evolution, obviously, because this car is a little bit easier. It's got a lot more traction, no tyre wear on in this race, so you don't really need to worry about any tyre wear kicking in. You can see straight away from the start, main aim to stay with the TRL driver in front of me and to try and lose the slipstream from the drivers behind. The GTI in front, driven by the Team Redline driver, going extremely aggressive straight away, and I've just got to stay with him. I ran a little bit deep into that corner and that compromised my exit slightly, but I didn't lose too much time. Managed to stay in the slipstream, just about 6 attempts behind him, and then just slowly gaining on. The GTR, one of its strongest points is it's just so much faster than the Evolution down the straights. So every time I was getting close to him here, you can see getting close, but then on the power zones I couldn't really take advantage of the slipstream. The slipstream was just helping me get a little bit closer on the straights. It wasn't really giving me an opportunity to make a move anyways. You can see, looking back on myself, I do love looking back on these views. It looks so cinematic and watching the cars moving with the suspension. It really does look great on this game. You can see the way the understeer's kicking in on obviously the 4-wheel drive system of the Evolution. It does suffer from a bit of understeer. However, there's no need to worry about tyre wear kicking in, so you can just go full aggressive in these daily race Bs. Just drive it 100%, and you can see already myself and the TRL driver have built up quite a big gap to P3 and pretty much broke that slipstream. Luckily, I'm still within TRL's slipstream and really trying to be aggressive. I know my car's got a little bit stronger front end, but his car's definitely got a little bit more pace down the straight. I could see it when I was on the Delta. On the straights, the acceleration out of the corners from that GTR was amazing. Such a strong car on getting on the power, but I'd say the front end of this Evolution definitely strong, as you can see. Again, building that slipstream up and getting a little bit closer towards the end of the straight, but again too far back that you can't throw a move upon someone like TRL Ferraris. You know that he's going to be on the edge of, you know, pretty much the limit of what the braking distance can be. So the only way you're going to make a move is if you get alongside him into a braking zone. So just holding back in now and just trying to stay with. To realise I couldn't brake any later than what I was anyway. I was on the limit. Both drivers here driving really aggressive, trying to take a tighter line through there to give myself a stronger exit from this corner. You can see I'm trying to work some sort of lines to give myself better exit speed, because I know that GTR is just so strong down streets. Had a little look up the inside there, just trying to unsettle him a little bit, you know, see if I can just take him off his normal line, but he's not going to, you know, these type of drivers do not buckle under pressure. And again, you can see, looking back at myself, just trying to move about and see where I can see an opening, if I can just have a little look on the inside. I had a little look then just to see, but there's just no way I can brake. Braking pretty much on the limit there, couldn't have braked any later, and getting very close up on the inside line there. And again, you can see the attributes of the Evolution having a stronger front end there. I was able to take just such a tighter line through that corner. The GTR just couldn't manage that, and again staying really close through him through the really fast chicane. Have a little look on the left hand side. No move really possible without a slipstream. The Evo just couldn't live with the GTR in terms of straight line speed, but staying really close through this section of the track. I do love this section of the track where you've just got to chuck it in from one side to the other, and then that corner is such a tricky one. If you push too hard, you run wide into the gravel, and both of us pretty much identical through there, kicking up a little bit of sand and driving maximum as we drive on board now. As you see, I'm having a little look. I can't really do anything at this time. Too far back, braking just before the 100. He's braking on the limit, I'm braking on the limit, and so aggressive through the chicane, both of us trying to get as strong exit as possible. He's trying to break that slipstream, I'm trying to have a little look to see if I can get some sort of boost coming out of the corners and make a move at the end of this straight, because I wanted to get as close as possible. But again, look at the difference on power. The GTR is just so strong down the straights, and even though I'm picking up that slipstream, I'm not able to gain massively. Both of us now into quite a good rhythm, so the lap time is going to come down on this lap. We're both going to be pushing 100%. You can see taking a wider line into the corner and trying to clip the apex. He took that a little bit better than myself. I ran a little bit wide, but managed to swing the car back over with the ability of the Evolution to still hold a good line on the front end. And again, running a little bit wide there, getting the car back on the track. I've remembered not to run wide there after what happened to me on my qualifying position, qualifying lap in the FIA race, where I ran just a fraction wide and picked up a penalty. It's because if you hit that little bit of green Astra on the right hand side with your right hand tyre, it will pick you up a penalty. And again, going through this sector on a purple sector, trying to stay with the TRL driver, and actually managing to put him under a lot of pressure. I really did think he was just going to walk away with it in this 4-lap race. I thought he'd break the slipstream fairly easy, because one thing about these drivers is they're very good at breaking slipstreams. I've noticed it from when being behind Lightning as well. He's so good at just getting you out that slipstream, and then they just settle into a routine. But one thing about this race, this is one of my stronger combinations. I said it in the FI race. Unfortunately, I'm in a better car, slightly better car than the TRL driver in front of me, and there's no tyre wear, which I really do like. For me, I do prefer like the more realistic tyre wear, because like I would love them to change it to ×1 tyre wear and ×1 fuel, make the races longer and let you feel a slow graduation loss of traction through the tyres wearing. I don't like the way it's like so much different from one lap to another. I remember in the Apex Racing League when they changed it to ×2 from ×1, I just couldn't cope with it as well. I like to feel it going off really slowly and realistic. I don't like instantly you go from one corner to a next corner and have a massive difference in grip, and I don't think they ever will change it, to be honest, but it would be nice if they did something a little bit more realistic with the settings like iRacing. I think it would make the racing a little bit more fun, but purely because I know strategy comes in, but I think I've seen Tishley talking about this today. People are just in longer races holding back and just sitting behind people to save fuel, and you can't fault it. I will do it. Every driver does it because you have to do it because of the way the system is. I think watching the top 24 race today in the Japanese tiers, Tishley was saying that P2 just sat behind, the fastest driver was in the lead, and then P2 just sat behind, saved more fuel and won the race. It just shows you what, it's a strategy that everyone's got to do because of the system. I just wish they'd change it to make the racing a bit more like this, because this is just driving flat out, both pushing as hard as we can. You can see getting so close again. We're on the final lap now. I'm only half a second behind. I've done a really good job so far. We've totally dropped the other drivers, 6 seconds ahead of P3, and we're both driving as hard as we can. You can see, looking back on myself there, I'm just trying to find a way to get better exit speed. Every corner I'm going in a little bit deeper or taking a wider line in and trying to get on the power a little bit earlier. I'm just trying everything I can think of to give myself a stronger exit to get a run on that Nissan, but again, I just can't seem to get the speed in the top. Obviously, once we hit 4th, 5th, 6th gear, to really get alongside that GTR as we go on board with the TV replay camera, and again pushing extremely hard, and I've got really close to him this time. We're on the final lap now, and I've just thought I'm just going to go for as much aggressive driving as I can to get as close as him into the chicane as possible. You can see getting really close to the GTR there, pushing 100%. This is the type of driving that I love being involved with, when you're both driving maximum as you can. We've got 2 drivers in now, we both want to win. You can see he gets a really good exit from that corner, so do I. I'm picking up that slipstream, and again, I just don't seem to be having enough legs with this Evolution to make him either have a little look down the inside, but I can't throw it up from there. I know that he's going to be braking on the limit, and if I did that, we'd wipe each other out. And this has been such a good race. I don't want to ruin a race that's been as entertaining as this. And then we go through to the final corner, pretty much settled for P2 now. There's no point chucking it down, in the inside or driving too aggressive now. Just trying to go over the line, and that was a brilliant race, thoroughly enjoyable race. And that's the type of racing that I wish we could have more of, with the tyre wear and the fuel wear being a bit more realistic. Obviously, you wouldn't have as much strategy. There would still be strategy if they added some sort of compulsory pit stop. Maybe they could do that, but there is an option in the settings to put a compulsory pit stop in, so we never know. We may see some more races like that in the future with more realistic settings, but I thoroughly enjoyed that race, and it does make me want to do a few more of these sprint races. I just wish that if they were a little bit longer, maybe like a 6-7 lap sprint race, it would be really entertaining. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that race, and it was really entertaining to be able to stay with that Team Redline driver, one of the best drivers on the game. I think he's P2 in the manufacturers, and he's topped his division within the nation, so I did a good job there to stay with him. It was one of my stronger tracks, obviously, and I was in a slightly better car. I will say that I think my car was probably 2-3 tenths, maybe a lap faster, and also the slipstream was probably 100% helping me out staying with him. But a really entertaining race. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. I'm going to be uploading the FIA Nations and the FIA Manufacturers race hopefully over the next few days, also from the final race. And we've also got the full race schedule out now for the season 3. And I don't like the season 3 schedule for the manufacturers. The Nations races don't look as bad, but there's some really weird stuff going on in the schedule. But I don't know if it's because they haven't finalised it properly yet, but it'll be interesting to see when it's properly finalised what that's going to be, because the tracks are not the best for the manufacturers, but it'll be interesting. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back very soon.